When I first got off the bus and arrived at Ryla, all of the counselors were like screaming and they all seemed really happy and energetic, but I was honestly like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? This is crazy. This feels so weird.
Ryla is Rotary Youth Leadership Awards, helping students develop confidence and love for themselves.
Rotary's motto is service above self, and what a better place to do that than at Camp Ryla. We've given them the tools, the skills, the foundational guardrails of what it means to be associated with Rotary.
There's the leadership modules. They show you different skills you need to be a leader, how to properly network and communicate with people.
If it's not enriching, it's not Ryla.
You really get to develop your own, not just leadership skills as it's advertised, but really own personal goals.
This camp has really helped me kind of be out of my comfort zone. You learn about new different things you never thought of. You get a bunch of new opportunities. You get to find your passion.
Ryla is everything I could have asked for it to be. I just really like these people. They're amazing. I've really connected with them, and I hope we still stay in touch even after camp's over.
Ryla has prepared me to be a change maker in my school and community by showing me that I can work with a lot of different people.
They're the pebble in the pond, and I hope that the impact that we've made on them ripples throughout.
Good morning, everybody.
There's nearly 678,290,000 kids under 5 around the world.
Sorry, Sean, I forgot about
what's
this
so
video.
important about being 5? Well, children who live to age 5 are twice as likely to reach adulthood. That's why vaccines matter so much. For 40 years, Rotary and partners have delivered vaccines globally. Like here and even here, in your neighborhood and around the world. Rotary is ensuring children grow up safe from preventable diseases.
Okay, so I need to know my own schedule, it sounds like. So welcome. Hopefully everybody had a great time so far. You got a good night's rest. But this morning we're going to have the district governor-elects. You 4 of you, lovely lady and 3 gentlemen, can walk up here and find your seat, please. And we're going to have Lloyd Campbell and Ken Crabb come up here and be our facilitators for some questions that your lovely GEs have all been coached on. They've talked together on how they're going to answer this. As Ward asked, how truthful do I need to be today? So, yeah, right? I said the 4-way test. He said it's a little late for that. But yeah, so I'll let you gentlemen take it away.
Well, good morning. First thing I want to say, I want to thank the future DGs for taking this time out to give us some insight of some of the things that they're thinking about. But also, I'm going to give Ken an opportunity to introduce the DGs. Future.
Good morning. All right, your DGs for next year from District 5580, Elaine Hansen. She is a CPA. She has extensive experience in administration, business development, along with nonprofit and governmental accounting and auditing. And she has served as the treasurer of her club, the Duluth Club, her district, and also now Region 36, which is Zone 25B and 29. So, from District 5970, Ward Buttrick has worked in fields ranging from banking to county government to environmental nonprofits. He owned and operated the Dakota Bicycles from 1995 to 2006. Ward and his wife Jackie then took 3 years away from the working world and rode their bikes around the world. In 2020, they published The World at 10 Miles an Hour, which is a book about their adventures. From District 5950, Mark Shockey is a pastor at St. Peter's in Edina. He is a NASCAR chaplain and a champion of families with young adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. He's on the tech team for Zone 29 and serves as the XO for the Vets Club, though he is a non-veteran himself. And from District 5960, Glenn Powers has his PhD in plant pathology and has worked as a plant breeder and agronomist in academia for a multinational company, and more recently as a consultant for ag biotech startups. His Rotary life started as a GSE, Group Study Exchange team member from Southeast Texas to Northwest India, and has spanned 4 districts where he has served as club president in 3 of them. Glenn. So our first question for our panel this morning is, what strategies can an incoming club president use to keep the members engaged and motivated throughout the year? Anybody want to start on that one?
I'd say one of the big things is just communication. You're going to have more information than most of the people in the club. And so you're going to hear it over and over again, and you're going to have this idea, well, everybody knows that. No, they don't. So continue to communicate and over communicate. There's always someone coming to a meeting that hasn't been there for the last 2 meetings, and now they're hearing things for the first time.
The one thing I would say, if it follows up with that, is listen. A lot of times we come into a room or come into a situation with your clubs, and you're thinking about what you're going to say. Listen to what your club members are saying, because they may have a different view than you do, and you need to take their view into account when you're responding to things, when you're bringing things up, when you're trying to reorganize or do something different with your club. If you tell them what to do, it's not going to work. Again, it won't work.
Well, a strategy that I like to use is if you recognize their years of service, and you start with those that are just new members all the way up to those that have been for 30, 40 years, and just recognize that. People want to be recognized for their years of service. So, and again, listening and Reed, what did the walls say to you? Oh, thank you.
Well, to me, it's you have to find their passion. And you can do that by some kind of survey where you're asking that, but I find a more effective way is sit down and have a conversation. Invite a member out for coffee or a beer or to lunch or something like that, and find out what excites them. And then I'm sure there's some opportunity in your club or district where you can plug them into it to get them fulfilled.
Well, thank you. Those are some great answers. I have a question here that concerns service and community impact. How can club presidents encourage their members to think more broadly about service beyond local communities and engage in international projects?
I'll start with that one if Isaac and Steve can help me. And I had the little booth out there, and what I asked you to do was go and put a push pin in all the different places that you've experienced a Rotary experience. Look at all the pins throughout the world, and that's just something you should actually encourage your members. Is Rotary is big, not only in the U.S. but around the world. So, I mean, take a look at the maps. It's amazing. And then as the people put their pin in, I listened to their story, and it was GSE, and there was polio vaccinations. There was a well in Ethiopia and Kenya. So this is a very effective way for your members to understand the the global aspects of Rotary?
We're all wondering who's going to talk next. I think one of the things, remember what this year's um, theme is: Unite for Good. And in talking to your clubs about uniting for good, who can you unite with? Who beyond your club can you partner with? What can you do? Minnesota particularly is known for its nonprofit community, particularly the number of nonprofits. And there are a number of different organizations that you can work with to expand the look of your club. I know in the club that I'm in, it's been around since 1911, and we do a lot of things that we've always done, and we're doing new things too. But think about what your club is doing and maybe make some suggestions that they partner. And following with this year's theme, it makes that really easy. Where can you unite? Think of grants. Think of global grants. There are a lot of global grants available looking for partners. And you can talk with them through your district international service chair and through the Rotary Foundation. So there's a number of ways to just expand the thought.
You look at what's in the world today, turn the TV on, right? And if events don't strike your members' compassion, another thing to point out is it's things that happen in distant lands impact your local community. You think if people felt safe, if they could feed their children, if they had clean water, they would take those long, dangerous trips to try to get to the United States or Europe? No, they wouldn't. And so we see the immigration issue in the United States has a big impact on local communities. So helping abroad helps local.
There are people with a lot of passion that are in your club and highlighting that. And even when you find out that one of your neighboring clubs has had someone who's been on some kind of a Rotary project somewhere in the world, this isn't the day of old slideshows. Some of you know what a slideshow was when someone came back from a trip and you'd be bored and watch it. Do an event and have a dinner or a social where the person who's there is just sharing what they experienced and open people's eyes to how global Rotary really is, and people will catch it and they'll get excited about it.
Thank you. Those are very thoughtful answers. I appreciate that. Our next question has to do with Rotary structure and governance. What do you believe is the most important function of a district governor-elect when working with club leaders, and how can this be communicated effectively?
Okay, I guess it's my turn. I think one of the things that the district governor needs to do, and this follows up to what I said initially, we need to listen. We need to come into the club and listen to what your issues are, what your thoughts are, and what your successes are, and then help you and connect the clubs with other resources that are available, both through Rotary and outside of Rotary. It's I think that what our role is really a facilitator, to facilitate your club reaching success.
Yeah, and if you've been in a managerial role or if you've taken management training, the one thing that the main mantra you hear is the main job of a leader is to develop other leaders. So I think that's one of our roles too, to help you develop to your full potential. And that's to, give you the proper support, training, information. And the hard part now for us, the thing going forward is we've done like this broad here, is I want to get to know each of my PEs and find out specifically what they need and more of a tailor-made type of support.
So have you been to your district office? Oh, wait, there is no district office. It's you. Our 5950 district office is a PO box, and that's the extent of it. And so help your club members realize district is just people who can provide answers. And there are many, many different individuals, and they're all out in your clubs already. And helping connect those who are working on something unique or someone who's working on the website. Hey, reach out and talk to this individual and just make those connections. And then district becomes very personable and very helpful, and not the big ogre who's looking down on us and criticizing what our club isn't doing. That's not what we're here to do.
I think, as Elaine said, you need to listen, but I always consider everything as a team, and you're the best part of the team. I'm the quarterback, and I'm going to get traded next year. So we only have one season. We only have one season to get the job done, and we want to win the pennant. We want to win the division. So I always try to look at it from that way. Just stay out of your way, but be there as a support, listen, and we're a team. And so that's always my thing, because none of us are any better than any of you, and we were all president-elects or presidents, and we're just a team. So that's my philosophy.
Thank you. Those are some great answers. I know we're going to have a great year coming up. I now have a question concerning club growth and membership, one of my favorite topics. How can a president make sure that a new member are properly integrated into the club and its activities? Don't everyone jump on it.
Okay.
Go ahead. You're brave.
No, okay. We've had a number of new members recently, and one of the things that that we've done is to have that member talk to them about different activities that we're doing. Invite them to participate. Don't just talk about it at your meeting and say, oh, our next service project is going to be next Tuesday and we're going to the food bank. Invite them specifically, one-on-one, to go with somebody to the food bank. To ask them to be a greeter in your club right away so that they're involved, and have them do some of the meeting tasks with someone so that they feel and they learn what's happening in your club. And then have someone be there. I want to say it's sort of a mentorship, but their friend. Have someone in your club be their friend for 3, 4, 6 months maybe, and sit with them, introduce them to other members of the club. Too often I've seen in clubs, and I've been in Rotary for, 25, 26 years, someone will come into a meeting and someone may venture enough to say hi, but have somebody that can take that person around and introduce them to other people, and someone maybe that has the same type of career, but just be their friend and make sure they have a friend. Don't assume that someone will be a friend with them.
And building on what Elaine said is, first have a strong onboarding program, strong education program, and not just an hour of PowerPoint. You can't Rotary and your club's got so much going on, it can't happen then. So it's got to be a little continuous. But building on what Elaine said there, I think you need to have good mentors for your new members. And the reality is sometimes the sponsor of that new member is not the best mentor. So you may have to find somebody who really can teach them about what your club does, teach them what Rotary does in the world.
So I was invited to a Rotary meeting on the first day of my first full-time job. And the question was, do you like Italian food? And I said, well, yeah. Well, I'll buy you lunch on Thursday. And we walked in the room. I had no clue it was a Rotary meeting. We walked in the room. The energy in that room when they saw a warm body was so incredible. I mean, it made all the difference. And from that moment on, I felt valued. And they didn't make that up, because when I finally became part of the club and the next victim came walking through the door unannounced, they got treated that same way. And I was like, oh, I thought it was me. And realistically, celebrate new people in your club. Sometimes as a president, it can feel like, well, we just did this a couple weeks ago. That's okay. Have another celebration. You have another new member. And if you're meeting, if you start feeling like new members aren't that thrilling anymore, or your meetings are getting humdrum, make sure you have guests in the room, because if you have a guest in the room who knows nothing about Rotary, it's going to change the way you run that meeting. And if you want to be a top-notch Rotary presenter, just make sure there's new people that you can tell the Rotary story to week after week after week. And guess what? All your members will begin to do. They'll tell the Rotary story week after week after week, wherever they go.
Well, they've all covered everything. The only thing I would add to it is, as you're making that new person feel really welcome, make the person who's been there 20 years feel as warm as they did that first day they walked in. And that's one of the things where I celebrate, it's the anniversary of their 20 years. Step forward and have everybody thank you for your service. And just as they come in and they're oriented, just do the same thing for the longstanding members as well. I think that's engagement between the two.
Wow, some great ideas. Thank you. The next question has to do with reflection and challenges. In your opinion, what is the most rewarding aspect of being a Rotary Club president?
Getting to know all your members on a closer personal basis. I think that maybe you don't become friends, but you just feel like you know who they are, and that always connected me. One of my goals coming here was I wanted to meet more than people from 5970. I wanted to meet people outside of my district, and I felt like I did that. And so as a president, if you can reach out to all your members to get to know them a little better, that I think that's just the greatest reward.
Well, and then look back at your year. What impact did you have on your community? And you can say, you're the president of the club. You are bringing your club to other aspects of the community. What did you partner with? Did you help another nonprofit? Did you serve the youth in your community? We've been working with youth mental health for a number of years and have several service projects involving youth. To be able to look back and say, I was president when we did X. And that can help you as you go forward with your career and your life in saying, oh, I made a difference. And realizing that as president of your Rotary Club, you are going to make a difference.
So in my introduction, you heard I speak every weekend professionally. And so I was coming out of a church where there were 1,000 people who came through the doors every weekend. I was used to being in front of people. Do you know what my most nervous moment has been in my life? The day the president of the club called me when I was a PE and said, I'm not going to be there next week. Would you run the meeting? I was and getting up in front of 35 of the people I respected most in my community was one of the hardest things I did, because I took it so seriously. And, you've got a moment to build people up for an hour every time your club gathers, and don't waste those moments. So for me, it was confidence. That's what I got when I was a president.
Wasn't the best part supposed to be June 30th when it's all done? No, you're leaders, right? Your job is, hopefully you don't try to do everything. You should have teams, you have clubs. You're just the captain up there that helps guide it. So to me, some of the most satisfaction is, at the end of the year, kind of like Elaine was saying, that you've reached some of the goals. maybe some of the 3-year plan goals that you've come there. But another real key thing to me personally was when you see that person in your club that's been a club member come into the meetings, suddenly become a Rotarian. And hopefully you helped with that process, but that's probably the most rewarding thing I had.
Wow. I have never been at a meeting where district governors-elect or district governors, for that matter, PDGs, have been so concise.
We've learned how to listen. We've learned how to listen.
We follow rules. We were told 2 minutes.
So as your reward, I'm going to give you each a moment or two for any concluding remarks or anything else you want to give for the good of the group.
Well, I still have my booth up. I have water bottles out there. If you would like a water bottle, it says "People of Action, please help yourself." And also, I have pins from the that I have left over from the International Assembly, and they're a pin of Iowa, which has corn and a hog on it. So, if you want any of that, no charge. Just help yourself. Take it back to your club if you're in 5970. And these other people could join the Iowa Revolution too.
I think one of the things you've learned is the value of networking. We tried to really build time in for you to have some discussions here as we've been together for 3 days, and remember that and take that back with you. And when you go to these district gatherings that will come up in the next 16 months, make sure that you take advantage of the networking moments. Don't be the first one out the door. Be there so people can approach you, set an example for your members, and they'll start to benefit from the same thing that you've started to learn as you've listened to other stories. Oh, I could do that. Oh, that's an interesting approach.
And kind of building on that too is don't try to do everything yourself. When our district breakout talking about burnout, well, that's a sure way to become burnout. And then even at your club meetings, it's your role to run club meetings, board meetings, but feel comfortable stepping back and let other people do it. You'll be more respected by your team members, club members, and probably more effective as a leader.
In one of the positions that I had, someone I had dealt with that I knew pretty well came to me after a couple of weeks and said, "We were here before you got here. We're going to be here after you leave. If you want to do something, you need to take us with." And that was in my career. But with your Rotary Club, think of that. Your Rotary Club was there before you became president. It's going to be there after you're president. How are you going to make a difference? What are you going to add that will make your Rotary Club unite with good in your community, in your region? And if you can do that and keep thinking of that during your year, you're going to have a very, very successful year.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, there, there we have it. Before I ask Carol to come up to end the show here, I want to do a shameless plug here for membership. Don't look at me that way, Gretchen. You're shaking your head.
Please, I need a membership chair in my district, and I don't have that many people here, so.
Oh, okay. The only thing I want to say, we have a membership webinar is every third Tuesday, and we have 4 panelists on that webinar. And it's extremely difficult to get them to talk and put everything together within the time span that they're required to do. I want to thank Gretchen for making sure that these bright, energetic individuals took the time to make sure they stayed within the time that was required for them to speak. So, Gretchen, thank you.
Well, we're just all afraid of Gretchen. That's
All right. So let's give a nice round of applause to our facilitators and our DGEs. Thank you. You're welcome to stay, go. It's up to you guys. You're in charge. Now it's time to break out into more learning sessions for the rest of the morning, running until 11 a.m. Please refer to your schedule for the session choices and breakouts, as well as the Q&A session for our panelists and main breakout sessions on Friday. At 12:15, we'll come back together for a final district session to wrap things up, and we'll reconvene so that we have a fun speaker and closing remarks, and then followed by a box lunch. Thank you all, and enjoy your sessions. I'll see you at noon.